Hello everyone, this is George Packard with Family Lawn and Landscape. And today we're going to talk about hidden expenses that most people never think of. All businesses have hidden expenses, and I'm going to bring to light today just a few of those expenses that you people need to keep in mind when you're out there doing your estimates. Okay? These are costs you're going to incur whether you realize it or not. So first off, keep in mind when you're giving these estimates, I always try to incorporate a lot of these into that. So I'll add them up over time. I will look at them in my off season for sure, and I will say, hey, what are all these expenses going to be? Now I'm going to divide that by the number of days, in a year. And so I know, hey, I've got to include these expenses as we go along. So, for example, insurance. Big one most people don't even think about. You have to have insurance on everything. Your vehicle insurance, equipment insurance, your business insurance, liability insurance. You have to have these things, especially if you're getting into commercial work too. You absolutely have to have big, high-powered, expensive insurance for that kind of stuff. And those things have to get accounted for somewhere. You've got to be able to find a way to incorporate those into your estimates. You're clearly not going to put it all into one estimate. You need to come up with the total of, this is the breakdown, this is what's going to cost me throughout the year. And just in the hidden expenses, now I'm going to break that down by 365 days a year, so it's going to be X much a day. I have to charge, be it $100 a day, be it $50 a day, whatever it is. After you add all these up, divide that by 365 days a year, now you kind of know about where you need to be and things you have to include in your estimate. So, that being said, let's talk about wages. Wages are a big deal. So wages are one of the biggest expenses that you're going to have in your business. Now, you can say, well, that's not really a hidden expense, but it is if you're not thinking about it. So first off, you've got what you're paying that guy per hour, okay, or that person per hour. Then you've got the unemployment you've got to pay, the workman's comp that you have to pay. You have to match the Social Security and the Medicare. Okay, those are all things that you're not thinking about. You may think, hey, I'm only paying this guy $10 an hour or whatever, and that's all I have to put down for a wage. Well, no, that's not true. It's probably going to be closer to $15 or $16 an hour, maybe even more, depending on your state. Okay, so keep in mind all those extra things that you have to have in there. Okay, most people don't think about it. There's your licenses. If you have to obtain fertilization licenses or spray licenses or landscape licenses, all those things have to be figured in there. Your fuel is a huge thing. People don't realize just how much you spend in fuel. And if you average it out in a given week, and that's what I try to do, I try to say, okay, if I took one truck and in a given year, he's going to go through X amount of tanks of gas, that's going to give me an idea where I need to be, and then I've got to take and divide that up times how many trucks I have on the road, or not divide it up by them, but add up every truck I have on the road, take that figure, divide it into your year, and that'll give you an idea too of the expenses you're going to incur, okay, with your fuel. So then the maintenance on your products, that's another big deal. So maintenance is huge. Most people don't even think about it. But let's say all the oils that you have to buy, the grease you have to buy, the tire patch kits you have to buy, the blades you have to buy, the air cleaners you have to buy, all your oil filters and hydraulic oil. There are so many things that you have to get and you have to include in your expenses when you're doing this. So for some reason my wife felt compelled to print things while I'm doing this video. Crazy, I know, but whatever. I got to stay focused and move on. So anyway, the maintenance products, we talked about that. The labor to do that stuff. Most people don't remember this. They don't think about this when they're doing their estimating. It's like at the end of every week, we still got a half a day of doing maintenance on all the equipment at the end of the week. That's still labor you got to pay in there. And it's not just that $10 an hour. It's all those extras that I mentioned previously. That's, your unemployment, your workman's comp, your Social Security, the Medicare. I mean, all those things go along with that. So those have to be part of your estimating. That's got to be in your mind when you're doing your estimates, okay? Your repair bills. Hard to predict what repair bills are. The best thing I can tell you is look at what you paid out last year, take that money and set it aside for this year. That'll give you a good base point to start from. If you're growing your business and you just doubled the size of your business, then you can figure on doubling the size of your repair bills. Or another way to look at that too, if your equipment is another year older, so you're probably going to have more. You might have 25% more in repair bills this year because your equipment is getting older. So keep that in mind.